So let's say that you have a business going, that your business has been running for a while. You have users, you have people that is working for you, you have a team that is trying to sell your solution to your users, and you start to get new ideas. How do you actually build a framework to analyze these ideas and to value these ideas and understand which ones are the ones that would get you closer to your vision of what you want to be as a company, as a business, and which ones are the ones that maybe you shouldn't be taking because they're not going to get you closer to what your users want to do. Let's dive into it. So our path to getting closer to our vision is not going to be a straightforward path. It's never going to be there's not going to be an easy shortcut to get to our vision of what do we want to serve as a solution to our users. In most of the cases, your vision is going to be something that stays far ahead, not necessarily something that where you are at the moment. And this doesn't mean that you can be selling to your products to your users. This can happen very early on in your process, once you have something that it delivers value to your users. But actually, how do you measure these ideas that are coming from different sources to understand that is this idea getting me closer to my vision, or is this idea actually not getting me closer at all? So ideas are like vectors. One idea will start from the place that you are in the moment that you implement it and you deliver it to your users, and it will take you in a certain direction, and it will also take you so far closer or further away even from your vision. So how do you actually create a framework to measure which ideas make sense to implement, how to pilot them, and how to actually get them into a roadmap? So let's get to it. So as I said, ideas will take you, when you're implementing ideas in your product, it will take you in a certain direction. And what you want to do is that that your ideas are getting you all the time closer to your vision, that it's never going to be a perfect straight line, but it's going to be somehow going in the direction of what your vision is. What we want to avoid certainly is to just gather ideas or start implementing ideas in our business, in our product, that are going to take us in random directions. The other day we were talking, for example, about Tesla. Tesla's vision is to work towards improving to have a better sustainable sources of energy so we can take off our environment. This means that they are trying to build cars which are running with electricity. So it's not going to be part of their vision to run cars that are not powered by electricity, which means that if they would take random approaches like, okay, now we will actually start delivering cars that work with diesel, or cars which work with oil or petrol, then these things would actually take them away from what their vision is, because they want to stick to renewable sources of energy. So this is how you have to understand that some ideas, if you implement them, will take you away from your vision, but some of them will take you closer, and some of them will take you in either direction. So how do we do this? Let's go on. In our previous video, we concentrated quite a bit on the example from YouTube. How is YouTube creating or defining their strategy? What are their culture, their values, and how they build up from these different points of they actually get to build their vision. So let's continue today a little bit on how potentially YouTube could analyze the ideas of when something they want to get implemented into YouTube. How do they consider is this a good idea or not? What we want to build is an idea management funnel. So we want to be able to have a way of gather ideas. How do we gather ideas that are coming from a ton of directions? So if you think about YouTube, of course, the amount of ideas that they might be getting is just huge, and it's coming from lots of different sources. Typically for more typical businesses is not going to be such a large amount of ideas. It should be a little more straightforward to handle them. But in the end, you're going to have different ideas coming from different sources. And this can be your users, it can be your internal team, it can be also trends in technology, but it can be also pretty much any other source of inspiration. This can happen very randomly, that you happen to watch an ad or watch a TV show and suddenly some idea sparks that, hey, this is something that we could actually do somehow similar, that is kind of related to the case that you're trying to solve to your users, and it just sparks a brand new idea. So imagination can be also a very good source for ideas and innovation. But how do we actually understand the value of these ideas? So what we want to build is, we want to build a funnel where we are able to, first of all, value an idea, understand the weight of this idea. Is this idea getting me closer to my vision or not? What we want to do in this funnel is that we want to have filters. So we'll have like four layers, of valuing ideas. So the first one is value the raw idea. Is it just have a quick way to analyze that, does this idea align or get me closer to my vision? And you can actually get those ideas that you think that could potentially get you closer to your vision, get them forward, and the ones that you definitely think that they are taking you away from your vision, just move them out of the way, or maybe put them in a backlog for taking into consideration later on when they are relevant. So the second one that we want to do is a business case. Here what we want to do is, with a business case, what we want to achieve is to understand what is the value proposition of the idea that we are providing, or that the new idea that we are building into our solution. What is the effort that is going to require from our team? How do we what is going to be our go-to-market strategy around this idea? What is our channel to be able to deliver this to our customers? And also understand the costs or potential costs of implementing this idea. Are they going to be just human or development costs, or are there going to be also some recurring costs that will come with time and that will continue over time? Once you have defined your business case, again, you will have a better idea which ones are the ideas that you actually can achieve and which ones are the ideas that maybe you shouldn't be concentrating in moving forward at this point. So once we define the business case, what we want to do is move to the next phase, which is piloting or prototyping. In this piloting or prototyping phase, what we want to understand is have a better understanding of what the solution is going to be and what it's going to mean in practice for our users. And how do we actually, it's basically validating the idea with potentially a small customer base, which could be kind of your beta testers, or it could be just a small representative amount of users that can give you feedback on your product and your business and help you moving forward your solution. The last phase is that once the idea has been validated, it's a good idea, we have been built a business case, so we understand how to implement it, who does it affect, what is the value proposition, and then we have an actual pilot or prototype developed that it validates the idea against some users. Then we can actually go forward and move this into our roadmap and plan when do we want to implement this in our next iterations of development that we are going to have. And of course, this is talking a little more on how software companies are working, but this idea is anyways valid for any other business in general, because understanding the weight or the effort of doing an idea is always key in order to be able to successfully develop and deliver this to your users. Now we have introduced the idea of how to actually start valuing your ideas and how to actually understand what's going to be the weight of an idea, how to move it forward in your roadmap, and does it make sense to actually even start developing this idea or not? And so what I would like to test now is that instead of going for a very long video like I did in the previous one, I want to just break this into smaller chunks. So what I'm going to do is that I will break and create smaller videos for all these all these stages. How do you, for example, create this framework to validate your ideas against your strategy and your vision? How do you create an actual business case? How do you define it? What are the things that you should be looking into? I'm moving on into actually how to do piloting or how to do prototyping and validating ideas with your users. And then finally, how you should build a roadmap, how to take into account all the different aspects that are going to be needed, and how can we organize in a way that we can actually concentrate more on the execution part of the idea to actually be able to deliver it to our users. If you like this content, I would like to see more, please subscribe and like the video. And if you have any comments about how do you actually analyze ideas, how do you think this should be done, do you agree or not with what we are saying here, please comment below and let us know. We'll see you in the next one. Stay safe.